Welcome back everyone. This is Pastor Dan along with Jay Beach and the All Night Band. We have been talking to Moses, from royal prince to a simple sheep herder who encounters a burning bush in the desert. Welcome back, Moses.
Those were the good old days.
You mean being a royal prince?
No. I mean spending time with family and that small community and spending time out with just my thoughts while herding the sheep.
You don't miss being a royal prince? Really?
Oh, there were some nice perks that went with it, but I don't think I would have been able to hear the voice of God in the midst of all that noise of living in the lap of luxury.
That's interesting. I think most of us kind of dream of having a life like that.
Yes, I know, which reminds me, we were talking about the 10 promises, or what you refer to them as, the 10 commandments.
Yes we were.
Well, the first 3 or 4, depending on how you count them, are about your relationship to God. The next 5 are about your relationship with one another.
You mean like don't steal or kill?
Well, yes, that would be a couple of them. The first one is about those in authority.
I thought it was about respecting your parents?
Parents, yes, but also those in authority. We are to honor them, which in the case of some parents, unfortunately not all, seems pretty easy, and the world has learned how to make a buck out of that with Mother's Day and Father's Day. But sometimes, let's face it, there are parents out there who are pretty damaging and despicable.
Are we to honor them also?
Yes, but by honoring what they could be, not who they are. Sometimes honoring parents, when you have dysfunctional parents, is to get safe, so you don't get hurt, and to get help, so you don't continue the dysfunctional patterns.
And those in authority?
Yes, well, you do have a problem there, don't you? Your elected officials are at an all-time low as far as respect goes. Some of that is deserved and some of that is projection. We set them up with a system where they have to have money to get elected and then reject them for swimming in the cesspool we've forced them to swim in. And that Citizens United thing just made a bigger cesspool. You've got to change the system and have higher expectations, seriously.
What about killing?
Well, you do have your Second Amendment and stand your ground nuts who hold a very low esteem toward life, but you also have this whole push to make sure every kid is born but only a small percentage get to live a life of hope. Everyone seems to want to cut every program you have to help children grow, eat, learn and have hope in this world, which kind of relates back to that authority thing.
And adultery.
There seems to be more concern over who can get married than into how to build long-term loving relationships. In the drive to sell more stuff, there is the danger of turning relationships into commodities where you throw out the old one and get someone new. God has given you the gift of love, but it takes time. In some cases, a lifetime.
And what about stealing? I've never stolen from anyone, and I think that is true for most of our studio audience.
Really? You pay more and more to the one at the top at the expense of the ones on the bottom. You haggle over minimum wages and health care. You ship jobs overseas in order to pay less and exploit other countries. You steal from the mouths of hungry children so your CEOs can buy a new jet. Seriously? Theft goes on all the time. When you have God, you have enough. When you don't, everyone around you is a victim to your greed.
Well, we are running out of time, but I did want to hear about this bearing witness in a court of law thing.
Not just in a court of law, that is the treaty language we talked about, but we are also called to build up one another, not be so snarky all the time. It may be hard to look into the eyes of another and see the face of God on Facebook, but sometimes I shudder at how you talk to one another. You are talking about your brothers and sisters in the family of God. Try to speak to them as you would God, especially the ones you disagree with, and then watch what happens over time. Remember, these are promises, not commands. When you flip them to the positive side, your eyes will begin to open to seeing God all around you, maybe even in a burning bush off on the hillside.
Well, it's time for a break. Please stay with us when we return and talk about a bit of coveting.